the purchase of a 2019 Craftsman 18-inch chainsaw. A brief discussion and an idea about how to break it in. Okay, I'm gonna just go over. Today I purchased a Craftsman 18-inch chainsaw from Lowe's. It's $179. In a little background, we had a storm here in Dallas, and at least 70-80 mile per hour gusts for about 30-40 minutes, maybe an hour, and it took down and destroyed, well, not destroyed, but it took down and broke a lot of limbs, large limbs and little limbs. So I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to pay someone when I'm physically able to do it, and pay someone $200 to come cut it, and then I could go buy a chainsaw and then have that for a long time and use it for years to come. I think that's just a better value. Also, too, a little bit more detail. Here I am, just to touch base with some Craftsman products that I bought. I bought this Craftsman vacuum in the year 2000, and it's still going strong, and I use it a lot. I blow with it, clean the garage, clean my car out, or truck, dry my truck, and I use it, at least 3 or 4 times a week. I vacuum all kinds of the home and vehicles, and it gets a wide array of use, and it has lasted now close to 20 years. And so that's just speaking to, my history with Craftsman. So too, while I'm out here, I am a big believer in using the proper fuel for different equipment. My race bikes, would get super unleaded gas when I was younger, and then high quality oil to mix in the gas. And so now, with these lawn equipment and all this ethanol, being added to fuel, and the lawn equipment not liking the ethanol because it attracts water, and who wants to not come out and have their equipment not start because of the fuel. So highly believe in getting the correct fuel, the best fuel for your equipment.
Happy with it. Let's see here. Comes with a pretty cool case. Almost all the tools that I buy come with some form of plastic case, and I usually trash them. But this one I'll probably hang on to. Try to keep this probably inside, where it's safer than this detached garage, even though this is a pretty safe garage. People still will come in any way they can. So keep this in the house, so this will be a good way to transport it. And one interesting thing that I found really cool was on the box it advertised that this comes with an additional chain. It comes with a chain on it, but it comes with an additional Oregon brand chain, which, from my limited experience in educating myself, this is a premium chain. So you get an extra chain. So that is, that was just icing on the cake. So that's really, really cool. I'll plan on sharpening my own chains. There's some sharpeners out there, and I found one online that got an excellent review and did an excellent job, and it taught me what all is involved with sharpening a chain. So I won't go into that in any detail because I'll probably say something uneducated. So it comes with an extra chain, obviously, blah blah, extra oil. If I ever come across any gas station that has ethanol-free oil, I might stop and get a gallon and just put that in there and then keep that for me. And then, obviously your paperwork, and this is a pretty cool wrench, and this is helpful to adjust your chain tension. So, like a dirt bike, adjusting your chain is essential to long life and having it not come off your sprockets. and then when it does, it causes damage, and it'll damage your chain and a lot of other components. So got to keep an eye on that. Tear up my truck bed, but that's how it looks. All right, well here I'm just going to get down to it, and we're going to obviously going to put some fuel in it. Most of my other equipment is 50 to 1. This one's 40 to 1. And lawn equipment being potentially more finicky. Looks like it has a pretty decent sized gas tank. I would say out of the can, maybe that's, maybe down to there, somewhere around there. So that's a pretty decent amount of fuel. Hopefully, get you 30 minutes of heavy cutting. Make sure that's tightened down. The bar oil. That might be a mess to get those mixed up. Put the gas in the bar section and the bar oil in the gas section. All right, next I guess I'm gonna start it up and basically do the braking procedure. I'm going to try to do that heat cycle 3 times, let it cool down each time, and I'll show a brief sequence of me doing that, and probably maybe speed it up and on the computer so it's not such a drag watching. But all right, it's got the instructions right here on how to start it. I notice a lot of people get saws and they try to start them with their own techniques, or they just don't have a clue how to start them, and they don't start, and then it becomes a giant headache. But hopefully, I didn't read the manual, but it's got, and I do read manuals, but it's got it right here. So I'm going to skip the manual because this is the instructions right here. Pump this 10 times. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pull that out. Probably gonna let this cycle sit here and run for probably 7 to 10 minutes. Let it get warmed up, and then I'm gonna shut it off and let it cool down for about maybe 20 minutes. I'm gonna do that 3 times, and then I think it's ready to go. Also too, since the chain, the bar oil may not get to the chain until I run it at some higher RPMs. I'm just going to put some oil on the chain and lube up the bar. I just, might as well. let it cool off for 15-20 minutes. The piston, from my understanding, I'm not an engine builder, but with heat and cycling it, the piston expands a little bit, and the rings will expand a little bit, and the cooling and the heating process of breaking this without a major load and at super high RPMs gives the rings and the piston time to seat into the piston wall, and that is essential to compression and the longevity of your compression, which is basically the lifeblood of the motor. And lubing this up dry, or starting it up where it's dry initially until that oil gets onto that bar, I think it's just an additional break-in procedure that's worthwhile doing. This is a after run oil, something I just had readily available because I used to race and drive remote control cars with little 2-stroke motors, and this was an engine oil after run break-in oil for those little motors. So it's just, I have all kinds of oil sitting around. This is the easiest thing to grab. But other than that, I'm gonna do this 2 other times, and then I'm gonna take some video of me cutting wood. So hopefully anyone finds this informative. First start. I did notice after I put the chain, or the oil on the chain, because I haven't revved it up and given the oil time to get out on the bar and the chain, that it changed the noise when I was spinning it. The sliding noise of the chain changed drastically when I added the oil to the chain. So less wear and tear during this break-in period of me adding that oil, and I think that was a good decision. I didn't plan on that, but it just came to my mind that I should probably do that. So everything looks good. Tension, from what I understand, that's pretty good, but as you start cutting immediately and it heats up, that will change, and I've got to keep an eye on that. I got to remember to do that. But yeah, another 10 minutes or so of running this until I start really feeling the heat around here. I mean, you actually could carefully touch the cylinder head when you come back and it's sitting and you notice it's not hot, and you put your finger on that right after you start it and touch it until it gets too hot to put your finger on it again, then run it a few more minutes after that and then shut it off. That's a way to, if you don't have the heat gun, that's a way to kind of tell too. But yeah, I'm just going to cycle it and then let it cool down again, and then come back one more time. Alright, we're back for the 3rd time. Real quick, because this video is getting long, and I apologize. There's no way for me to go quickly on videos. It's always the same. It's always too long. But anyways, I put my fingers on the cylinder. It's not hot anymore. Comfortable enough, so make sure it's in the run position. Let's see, pull this out maybe one time. I don't know what the sequence is. Starts first time. Pretty good. Starts up first time every time. I mean, that should be expected, but a lot of the saws don't do that, and a lot of people have trouble. So this one was really awesome in that category. I mean, it starts up first pull now 2 times. This is the 3rd heat cycle. Now I can touch the cylinder head. It's starting to get hot where I don't want to touch it, so maybe 4 or 5 more minutes. Run it a little more aggressive each time, but not revving the guts out of it. Just let it sequence into it. Let this run, like I said, for probably another 3 minutes. You can also get the idea of the heat from just feeling around it. This one's already starting to build up heat, so a couple more minutes.
now time to get serious. This is just something that I want to say, heartfelt. I think the reason why I mainly got this chainsaw is I think the United States is headed in a bad direction, and there is the potential for some major fallout. So with that said, I don't have a furnace in my house that I can burn wood, but I have that, the detached garage and the yard around there where I can burn some wood. So I think it's key, minus the storm, and I needed help clear that storm wood. But I'm taking all that wood and keeping it, and maybe in the tough times when we don't have power and we don't have amenities to go eat food, that I have a cooking source and some heat if it's, winter time. I mean, for goodness sakes, we don't need any heat right now, but that's my main purpose, probably in getting that chainsaw, is that I can have me some wood, and then, in emergency situations, and then I have a chainsaw. So, that's just a piece of equipment that, is hard to replace, with a little hand saw. So, with that said, that's key number one why I got that. In my neighborhood after that storm, there's so much wood around from 12 to 18 to 20 inch thick that I could go for years if I could collect all this wood and it's already cut up into fire log lengths. It just would have to be split. And so I would need to just get an axe or a splitter, a splitting axe, and and go around and collect some wood. But with that said, that's the main reason. But man, this saw is bogging down a little bit, as you can hear in the videos, but it is brand new. And I mean, and hopefully, saws, as the motor gets worn in, it'll regain some of that strength. And plus it's 90% humidity. It may even be 100% humidity. So I don't know if all that moisture in the air is messing with the jetting, which is highly likely. But man, I'm really enjoying this saw, and it's going to be a future tool, hopefully I can have for many, many years. If I don't have it for at least 10 years running perfectly, then it'll be a major disappointment and it'll be a failure. So with that said, if you have any questions, or I'm sure I'll get some negative feedback that I did something wrong or something dangerous, but hey, I'm open to hearing some suggestions if I'm a fool or I'm an idiot or I'm smart. So yeah, otherwise, thanks for checking my video out. Bye for now.